This is DMG, and on this episode of Channel Chat, we're going to be speaking to Stronghold crafter Kev, who's a guy who stepped away from cardboard and is using extruded and expanded polystyrene in a lot of his builds. So this is going to be a very interesting one.
Tell you a funny story. I was at the father-in-law's house, and they were having fun with this. It was an outdoor pool they had in the ground, and I'm like, I don't feel like getting in the pool, so I just stick my feet in the water and just wade my feet in the water. And I'm not wearing a swimming suit, set of trunks or anything. And I was like, what the heck? I dumped myself into the pool. Someone at first thought I just slipped and fell into the pool, and I was like, it's only 5 feet deep, so I can't drown myself. I'm 5'10", okay? And I'm like, yeah, I just wanted to get in the pool, you know. I still had my shorts, my t-shirt on, and I didn't care. And I get out of the pool, and I'm like, oh, crap. My phone was still in my pocket, my shorts. And I was like, honey, now's the time as any, good as any. Let's go get some new phones. So my wife literally begged me to get a media phone, because she wanted to get a media phone, because if you don't get the same kind of phone, you get a different awkward plan and all that kind of stuff, okay?
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay. So I get this phone, this media phone, which I still have, Samsung Galaxy 3, okay? And I start looking at it. I just recently bought a house, okay? And my realtor was talking about how great YouTube was, because he would go on there and he would do his own home improvement projects. And he would get all kinds of advice and stuff. And before that, I knew nothing about YouTube other than the fact that celebrities were getting in trouble, and someone did this badly, and someone did this, and all this stuff. And I'm like, I don't care about that, so I never watched YouTube at all, okay? Just like watching reading a Scandal magazine. I don't care. I was redoing a bedroom in my house, okay? And I was like, okay, so I was like looking up how to do this, how to do that. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. You know, and then it just dawned on me that I need to get into a hobby again or something, because things have changed, and I'm going to go nuts if I don't get back into a hobby. Because I used to be into drawing, and I got out of that, and I used to be into role-playing, and time was the biggest evil with that. I just could not get back into role-playing. Like, I did that for a long time. So I thought, okay, I'm going to look up about castles. Because when I was a kid, I got into making castles out of cardboard tissue boxes. So I'd make the tissue boxes, you know, line them up, glue them together. Then I would put cardboard on the outside so they had some, you know, brickwork and stuff or blocks or whatever. I ended up destroying that thing. But anyway, I was like, it was fun, you know, it was something I did. So I was a crafter from when I was a kid. After my daughter was born, I started getting into the castle stuff. That's after I got the phone. I then got onto YouTube and started looking at channels from the searches, and I came across Epic Fantasy, how to build a foam castle. Ooh, that's cool. I never heard of this. I never heard of using polystyrene or anything. I was like, okay, that's cool, all right. And then I found Terranscapes, and he did a evil castle project. At that point, I was like, whoa, that is so awesome. You can't help but just listen to this guy talking about all this technical stuff. But he does it in a way where he just keeps you intrigued. Like, I wish he was my teacher in school when I was still in school.
He was a teacher.
Yes, he was a physics teacher, believe it or not. And he started a wargaming club after school. And I was like, wow, okay. At first, I was a watcher, okay? I didn't comment. I didn't do videos. I just clearly started watching stuff. So then you know, you learn as you do. So I'm like, you know, I need to start subscribing to some of these people. So that was where it started, and then that's why I started getting the hot wire tools. And somewhere in between that, I came across DM Scotty's YouTube channel. I was like, role playing with terrain and stuff. And then shortly after, I found your channel in a suggestion menu. I was like, okay. And the first channel video I watched of yours, I think, was the acid pool. Like, okay, who is this nut? But it was cool though, okay? I'm a nut too. I'm a mixed nut, okay, creatively speaking. It wasn't until I started looking at some more videos and like lizard landscapes. I liked how he did stuff with waterfalls and junk. And one of the videos at the end had other suggestions for other videos. And one of them was melt polystyrene. I'm like, okay, what's this? Click. You know how you click a video and you regret you clicked it? You got these surfer dudes that sound like they're half drunk, and they're taking the styrofoam plates. Do you have those in Australia?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, we don't have them, but I know what you're talking
Okay.
about.
They would take a bowl, fill it with acetone, which is basically nail polish remover, and they would stick it in there. Whoa, that's freaking cool! And like, because acetone obviously melts polystyrene. I'm like, you know, and then they're picking it up with their hands. I'm like, I was hoping for them to like their hand melt before my eyes. Damn, didn't happen. So I'm like, okay, all right. I bet I can do a better video than them. And then I started watching some more videos. At first, I was just trying to be myself, but I took ideas from different channels, and I was just pretty much serious, you know. And then it just hit me that, okay, this is cool. I originally just started uploading straight to YouTube from my phone. I didn't do any editing or anything. I love the fact there was community feedback, and it was kind of cool to have other people in the same hobby that you could actually bounce off ideas off of or share, and just, oh, that's cool. And then, you know, it was nice when I finally got some feedback from some people who were like, oh, this is awesome. I'm like, it is? Okay, thanks.
Yeah, it's great to get that sort of feedback, because it's one part is like you enjoyed actually crafting, but the other part of it is, you know, you enjoy actually doing the tutorials. If you were to sum up your channel in one sentence, what is it about?
Basically, this channel is dedicated to the creative aspects of modular terrain, gaming accessories, and miniatures. I'm sorry?
One of the things that I like about your channel is you have quite a lot of attention to the details of construction, which, you know, I'm a sort of like, it's kind of 1.5 centimeters and away you go. But you actually go, well, this is how it's going to be done, and you draw plans, and you're actually meticulous about how it's constructed. And that's one of the key things that I like about your channel, is it's not just the ideas, but it's the sort of planned nature of what it is that you're doing. What would you say is your favorite video series that you do?
Anything that's a castle terrain project, whether it's towers, the walls, any kind of structure. So when I'm actually working on something like that, I feel like I'm really in the crafting zone from my point of view. Something new, something fresh, something that's going to challenge me, and then I'll usually build it. And if I think it's worthy to be a tutorial, one of the guys, he was on Crafter's Tavern tonight, Sleepy Hollow Restored. He liked my tower video series on how to craft the towers, and I was like, ah, because I didn't want to make it just about. I felt like I was starting to copy Mike from Terranscapes, where I was like, here's this tower, and here's this tower, and here's my progress. Now I'm going to keep doing the work in progress videos. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But if I feel that it's worthy to do as a tutorial that someone can follow, then I will also eventually do it in a tutorial. Or I will do the basic steps of something similar. So if someone wants to do that, they can do that and not have to be overwhelmed with, oh man, you put so much into this, can I only do a fraction of what you just did?
It's one of those things where when you see something simple like a strip of foam and it's been cut into a rectangle, and then you're just going into the small details of cutting a merlon, and when you see it in the end, you're like, wow, that wasn't very hard to do. Whereas if you just see the finished product, and when you see Kevin's full Stronghold structure put together, if you saw that first, you'd go, oh, I can't do that. But if you see it being constructed, it's really easy to do. And so long as you're obviously being meticulous as you are. And it's a fantastic process to watch. Where do you get all the expanded polystyrene?
That is a good question. And thank you for the compliment on expanding for that part, because I want to make it clear through the viewer's eye that, okay, there's a step-by-step process, not that, boom, here it is, like you said. Polystyrene, depending on where you live in the world, your options are going to be either a lot or limited. Say, for example, in America, I will say a shout out to Viv at Rubbish In, Rubbish Out. He gets polystyrene from somewhere in Australia. I don't know where, but he does work with it from time to time. But most places you can get polystyrene, the expanded or the extruded, which is the more solid, rigid stuff, or pink, or it's colored yellow, red, not red, but yellow, blue, green. Have I seen it green?
It's,
I think I've seen
blue,
it.
pink, and green I've seen.
I think the most popular is blue. In my country, it's blue, the light blue, pink, and maybe yellow, I think. But most hardware stores or home improvement stores that are going to sell home improvement stuff are going to, in the installation department, they're going to sell the polystyrene. There, you're also going to get the highest quality foam for that matter. So just keep that in mind. You may have an option depending on where you are. Sometimes they have scrap stuff they throw out. I've seen that on searches where they actually say, hey, it's such and such in Michigan, they throw this out every so often. I'm like, I don't do it here, not that I know of, but then I haven't really researched this stuff. You're taking a gamble with scrap stuff. Usually it's damaged, it's not full sheets, and it could have a lot of breaks in it. So depending on what size and scope you're doing, it all depends on what you're looking for. I do not promote dumpster diving. just saying.
I'd be like, get out of my way, Granny.
Because sometimes you don't know what's in a dumpster, However, you might find a treasure trove of polystyrene in a dumpster, but I'm just saying, though, beware. Some construction...
It's the treasure trove of other stuff that you've got to be worried about.
Right. Right, well, it's like I watched a short video of I think it's Nathan Lake at Earl T. Gray, where he lives up in Michigan, where it's like half the year it's winter and half the year it's 4th of July, and he goes up there and he found some polystyrene that was the expanded stuff that blew off of a house that was being built because it was exposed, and he's like, they're just going to throw this out. So he just picks it up, puts it in his car, and just drives off with it. That's another suggestion for free. But if you do, I've gotten polystyrene for free at my workplace in the dumping area, of course. When I'm not working, I suggest don't do this while you're supposed to be working on the clock. Do this during your break or something, because what are you doing in there? Get out! Because some people are like, would be really like, you got me in trouble, Kev. No, I didn't.
Kev told me to do it.
It's the same thing. You could find it's molded polystyrene that was specifically molded for something. So you might find an idea from this molded polystyrene that you may not use right away, but you might use it for something else down the road or something. If all else, you break it apart, you cut it apart, You've got raw material you can practice on. Packing material. I don't know how things are shipped in different countries, but some places like furniture and appliances in my country, some things are packed in polystyrene. So I don't always pay for polystyrene, but if I want something to be an exact set measurement, then I will buy it. One thing you have to keep in mind about the molded polystyrene for packaging, it's not the best quality, it's not the highest quality. It's the easiest stuff that can break apart. The beads are not as tightly bound together, so compared to the insulation grade.
What's the best video you've done so far, in your opinion, and why?
My Castle Terrain Square Stronghold project, video 1, I feel that was one of my best videos I've done. And I say that because I felt like I was really in the zone when I did it, and it was a lot of fun. And I actually did that free-handed camera. My Dungeon Tiles 5 of my Dungeon Tile series, painting techniques, yeah, that was my top video of my top 10. Okay, and that one got the most views of all my videos on my channel. And I was like, okay, it's painting techniques. Why does everyone care about painting techniques for? It's just, yeah, you do the base coat, you do the highlighting, or you do your base color, and you go on from there. And it just amazed me that people were more concerned and interested in painting techniques. And it's like, that was some simple, basic painting techniques, but
yeah.
I'm not going to argue with that. It's like, okay, if you like my painting techniques, I'll do some more painting techniques, but I cannot promise you I'm going to have a whole lot of painting techniques videos per se. They come as they come, but in the future maybe I'll do more. And I don't try to do a certain video to get views. I do the videos I feel that I need to do, and they'll speak for themselves.
So do you have any new video series planned? It's all top secret.
Well, for you, Gareth, I'll let you know. I'm going to do a series of videos, and I got to thank you for the inspiration behind this. I'll give you the credit for this. Dungeon traps, decor, and obstacles. They may be in the same playlist, or they may be in separate playlists. I haven't decided yet. I'm doing a lot of Dungeon Tile videos, but I don't want to go on to the other stuff until I've at least got the meat and potatoes. I want to do...
I'm like that with towns and cities.
Okay.
Everyone's like, oh, you got to do towns and cities. I'm like, no. I'm doing towns and cities after I've finished a large bulk of dungeons. It's what I say.
That's right. It's your channel. That's right. Okay, I'll get back here. I'm going to do more videos with castle landscapes and buildings. I need to do some more research. I love Mel Terrain Tutor's channel. He gives a lot of great ideas, among some other channels, but he's my favorite channel. Oh, hi, Jack. Say hello to DMG.
Hi, Jack.
He's starred in some of my videos. Unlike Eric, he doesn't take stuff from me. Oh yeah, I plan to do a dice tower. I'm going to do it where it's going to be like a castle terrain tower, but it's also going to be modular. So if I don't want it to be a dice tower, it can be something else. And I'm going to make it into a tutorial where, and if you're kind of wondering, it's not going to be all polystyrene. It's going to be, I'm going to make it like, where it's got like some type of insert that you can take out, so if it sees some wear and tear, you can remove the insert and just replace the insert. Role-playing scenery. I'm gonna take some of the ideas from DM Scotty, and I'm gonna put my twist on them, or I'm gonna do something similar to it. But I will give him credit for it if I do something similar to his stuff, or if I'm doing something similar to your stuff, I'll give you credit. I'm thinking about doing some miniature videos in the future, like I said, but it all depends on once I start playing with that aspect and what I do with it. Then I may do some tutorials. I'm thinking maybe I'll do some monsters, or I'll do some statues or some figurines. Jack! Oh. Bad kitty. And I'm thinking about doing some gaming scenarios where I might put some terrain in front of the camera, and then go through some role-playing scenarios, give some viewers some ideas for if they want to do some DMing or something, or show them what they can do with the terrain I have.
I had a similar idea
Mm-hmm.
where it was you showcase just a room and you give people all the details about the room, and then that's something they can just slot into a dungeon somewhere, because there's billions of rooms you could do.
Right. I do like how you showcase the stuff in a dungeon tile after you've made it, like pillars or the chest or something. And DM Scotty does the same thing, which is great, you know. And then he does his little Roderick skit, and like, okay, that's cool.
If a person was going to start watching your channel, what's the first playlist they should probably start watching?
It all depends on what their interest is, because I want to be considered diverse. I don't want to be considered, oh, he just talks about role playing, or he just talks about terrain, or he just talks about himself, you know. So I figure if they want to know about wargaming terrain, check out my castle videos. If they want to know about building the terrain, look at my tutorials. You know, like start with the Adventurer's Keep and then build on from there. And you'll see a slight difference in the quality of the video that I've taken from suggestions from people, and you'll also see that I put a little bit more into the fun and the FaceTime a little bit, or I get more descriptive, and I get you start to see the editing gets a little bit better too. Like you said on your interview with Arthur Kadawa, well, he's still not, you know, he's still working on being in front of the camera, and it's like, yeah, I just go with it, you know, because sometimes I'm relaxed, I'm fine, other times I'm just a freaking nut. And you're kind of like me, where like, you just go with it. You know, you may not even edit it out. You may like, let's just keep going.
Or just do it on purpose.
or just do it on purpose, yeah. You just get me cracked up when you start doing that. And I'm like, oh, okay. If they're into role playing, watch my dungeon vids. You'll see a progression as to, you know, I'm trying to build onto something with the dungeon terrain. I mean, at this point, you know, I just have the tiles, but eventually I'll get into the other stuff that I talked about. And
your website.
Yes, and go to my website, because I put a lot of energy into that website, which is strongholdcrafter.com. It's not about, okay, you've got to go to my website. Please go to my website. It's not like that. It's just that it's a very condensed version of my channel. Plus, I'll have pictures on there too that I can't put on the YouTube channel, and I have a little blog section on there. And like I said, I also give credit to people on certain pages, so you'll get a more well-rounded experience of what I'm into, as well as, you know, my backstory, where I came from. I gave you a little bit of my backstory, but I would also love to do story writing. And I love your ideas of how you're selling your PDFs and stuff. And I might do something in the future along the line, but that's not part of this question. But I'm just giving you a heads up. I love your idea, and I may borrow some of that idea, but do something slightly different.
Yeah, I mean, that was born out of wanting to showcase the tiles, and I didn't want to do it in the standard way. And the thing that I've not seen on the internet is dungeon walkthroughs of you know, like written adventures. And there's a lot of people who are DMs and they give all kinds of advice, but there's no content to showcase things that they've written. And so I just saw a huge gap, because obviously I can then leverage all my viewers and give them something, and make a little bit of scratch.
I like that, you know, and I think that there's a whole new frontier there. That I got this idea from Mike from Terranscapes, that he talked about how being in the terrain business, there's so such a wide market because everyone has a certain style that they approach it. Mel, the train tutor, he approaches it differently than Mike from Terranscapes. Of course, Mike does it full time as a business, and Mel does commissions from time to time. But they both do it from their approach, and it works. It looks good, and it's like, oh, that's great. So I think there's, along that same line, I think there's that opportunity to other DMs or people that have a good role-playing background. If they want to do that, they have that opportunity.
And it's something where, for me, it was a huge risk, because I didn't know how people were going to, look at this thing. I was dreading that I was just going to get all these negative comments and like, this is rubbish. How can you post something like this? It's the internet. You expect that sort of thing to happen. But, I was pleasantly surprised that, it did what it did. Because there never really was going to be a PDF. But after about episode 5, I realized, no, this is going to work. Okay, so which video did you think was going to do very well, but it didn't really pan out that way?
I have a number of castle, tower, terrain, work in progress videos that I did, and one that really challenged me a lot was the main keep project. And work in progress video 2. I only did 3 videos for that project. I don't know why I only did 3, but I only did 3. And that video was the middle of that series. And it got the least amount of views out of every video on my channel. It got the least amount of views, and I got 1 like. And I was like, okay, I got 1 like. Okay, that's great. What happened? I only say that because if you're a castle enthusiast, in my opinion, the keep is like your main tower of a castle or fortress or stronghold, because it's the last line of defense in also a stronghold. It's the last line of defense. It's the strongest tower. It's the biggest tower. It's the most prominent feature you're going to see in a castle. And the fact that the video didn't do so well, I was like, are you kidding me? And I'll go into further to say that I made myself so much extra work with that keep because I made the 4 corners modular to where I could take them apart and add different corners so that I wouldn't have to build another keep if I was building a different flavor kind of castle with the same kind of keep. I could just change the corners out, and then it's kind of like, you only build so many chairs for your dungeon, you just reuse them in another room.
So that leads into what video exceeded all expectations and you were surprised by the response.
I would have to say Dungeon Tiles video 0, which is intro to the foam, where I'm just venturing out and like, okay, this is either going to be a disaster or it's going to be okay. And I know you liked it, and it was like, okay, I'm going to the foam zone here. I'm trying something different. I was kind of motivated by that video to do because of one of the Crafters Tavern. Someone was asking about, what about Dungeon Tiles of polystyrene? And you said that, well, you can go to Epic Fantasy and he shows you how to do that. You can go to Stronghold Crafter Kev. He could probably show you how to do that. And I was like, all that goes on in my head. I'm like, you're right, I could do that. So thank you for the shout out for that. And at the same time, I was getting kind of burned out with doing castle vids, and I needed to do something different. And so I thought, well, maybe I'll just do dungeon stuff. What really surprised me was I kind of hated that video because I kind of reverted back to my freehand camera techniques, and the camera got too shaky when I was starting to hold it with one hand. And I'm sorry for that, because then when it got too shaky, I had to have uh, YouTube do the editing part of making it less shaky. Well, YouTube sometimes does well with those editing features, and sometimes they make it look like like you're on some kind of acid trip or something. But don't quote me on that because I've never done anything with acid. I was so surprised that it had like one of the most views of my videos. Like, are you kidding me? It's just an intro video.
What is the aim for your channel?
3 words: share, inspire, entertain. I hope someone is inspired by something I do. That would make me feel great, you know. I just feel like I'm doing the right thing if someone is inspired by that. You talked about, and one of the crafters tavern, about how if you don't hook somebody within like the first few minutes, they're going to be gone, but you don't know that. And it's like, I'm just going to say this once: I'm trying to do more condensed and more streamlined videos. Okay, I'm getting better with the editing part, but I'm nowhere near DM Scotty's or your editing techniques, because I'm still using Microsoft software. So until I can get better, I'm just going to have to do what I do best and just go from there.
And you know, editing is something that you learn 2 ways. One is watching a lot of television and movies, and the other way is by doing a lot of editing. And I've been doing it for years, and there's still a lot that I don't know. But the key to it is to keep it very simple. If there's a lot of technique and technologies in your editing software with different fades and titling and all that kind of stuff, leave it alone. Stick to just cuts, and cut, and be ruthless. So you want to delete, if it's something where it's like you have a 10-second pause, there's no reason for it to be there, lop that out. And just show the important things, because you know that's where the editing makes it better, is in that giving the nuances and leaving out all the fluff.
My most recent Dungeon Tile video I released, which is I think it's Dungeon Tiles 8. I took your idea, and instead of going through the whole slew of techniques and fast forwarding, I just refer you to a previous video that I did, so that if you're not sure what I did, you can go back to that video and watch that. And I was quite pleased with how short the video was.
So what is something that most people don't know about how you produce your videos?
I actually use an older laptop. It's not a brand new laptop. And the funny thing is, my wife started using the editing software for putting together a short movie of just slideshow clips and putting music with it. And that's the only reason I even got turned on, partly to doing videos. I'm like, well, if she can do that with that, I can do videos, you know, without having to go out and buy the video editing software right off the bat, and just to experiment and play with it, and just to see what I can do with it. And the fact that I have some subscribers now, the fact that anyone subscribed to me from the beginning, I was like, cool. You know, I'd say other than that, my workbench that I have in my videos is a drawing table, because it has adjustments on it to where you can angle it like this for drawing, but you can also set it flat, and that's my workbench.
Yeah, my videos started, I started on an 8-seater poker table, and so that's where you see the green felt in all the early videos.
Ah,
That's a poker table.
I thought it was a Q table for playing pool.
No.
Okay.
Jeez, that would be expensive. What video would you love to do, but you can't?
I would love to do a wargaming session, like some of the channels. I watch a channel called Mini Wargaming, where they have a table and they they have their terrain down, and you've got two people, basically pitching armies against armies, and you probably have like a third guy, excuse me, who's basically running around with the camera. I would love to do that with my own terrain someday, but I don't have the right equipment, I don't have the right table, and I don't have the right amount of people.
What you've got to do is you've got to fake it. You
Right.
play yourself, and you only use the miniatures you've got, and you create a completely new game. And no one, and then everyone, where do you get the game from? I've never heard of this game.
And I would love to do a module, a role-playing module, probably like yours, only it'll be a totally different story, but it'll be utilizing my dungeon tiles.
I suggest you actually just do a small one, purely because you get into the whole, I don't know how would you say it, just in the whole process of doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And your phone, you'll probably find with the right light is going to be, good enough.
Okay. In America, we say stuff like getting your feet wet.
Yes.
So, okay, I might try something for practice just to see how it goes.
If you were to have a famous person on your channel, who would you pick and why? Besides me.
Besides you. Okay, yeah, you're famous. You've got over 5,000 subscribers, so I guess at some point you're considered famous. I will answer that in two parts. Considering you nominate yourself as famous stats, okay, I would love to have anyone on my channel for like a chat session that inspired me and kept me going through tough times. I'll just say it. Peter Jackson. He directed Lord of the Rings. He directed the Hobbit movies. I would love to have him on my channel for his famous status, not because of who he is, because I love his directing style, and I love all of his movies that he's done. When I watched his behind the scenes of the Lord of the Rings movies and the Hobbit movies, I got inspired by the detail, he loves models and figurines and miniatures, and he said that if he didn't get in directing, he would be in the miniature business. And I would think that no matter what level I am in the bell curve of my skill, he would appreciate what I've been trying to do. I'd love to have him on my channel.
Which channels do you feel are the biggest influences on your work?
Epic Fantasy is the first one. Terranscapes, the Terrain Tutor, the DM's Craft, and your channel, DMG Info. And
like button.
Say, yes, like button. That's right. For Epic Fantasy, he got me to expand my creativity base. He got me to think outside the box of, there's so much out there you can do as a hobby. And, like I said before, I'm a creative mixed nut. So when I started the channel, I finally found something to where I think I can build on, and I can go through and go from there. Terranscapes. I may get some ideas from him from a wargaming aspect of terrain, but just hearing his meticulous detail as to what he describes and what he does, it makes me think about how I might have approached the same thing, without saying anything bad about what he's doing. Everyone has different viewpoints on the same thing. I might have done something a little bit differently now that I've got more of a base of what I can do. But just the fact of just good research from his channel. Mellow Terrain Tutor. He's just entertaining, just to listen to his channel with his chill chat and build videos. He's doing a current Stoic Arms build, which is interesting to watch. And I've learned from different products from different areas of the world and how they approach terrain. Plus, it's nice to hear from a different country what their viewpoints are about terrain and stuff. Of course, the DM's craft I talked about. He got me into thinking about dungeon tiles, approaching. I have a lot of background in the theater of the mind role playing, and he showed the miniatures. He showed the terrain. I was like, and he got me thinking about dirt cheap crafting. Your channel. I learned that I loved your concept of the modular dungeon tile system and how you don't want to waste space, so you keep everything together. And I get kind of annoyed with now everyone's dungeon is everyone's dungeon, and there's no wrong way to build a dungeon. Yet I get kind of annoyed when you've got people that put together a dungeon tile terrain, and it's either it's all together like yours, or it's got these squiggly long, meaningless corridors that you can't do anything in except walk. I like the idea of how you approach things from an economic point of view, along with DM Scotty, where you work with what you have available to you.
What would you love to improve about your channel?
I'd love to get some better equipment. I talked about this. I would like to get a better camera with a tripod, just for basic camera improvements. That way I can improve the angles. I can show different angles that I can't currently do. And not to mention, you'll never know how annoying it is for someone to call you when you're trying to film a video on your Android phone, because the phone takes priority over the video. It shuts off your video and stops the video, and then it goes to the call and like.
I have 2 words for you: aeroplane mode.
Airplane mode.
It'll stop the calls coming in.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for that tip. I'll have to remember that, because I don't know what the airplane mode is for. Because it's like you're in the airplane. What do you do with it?
So that brings us to the bonus round.
Oh yeah.
If you were imprisoned in a sealed room, about to be entered by an armed foe, and the only things in the room were a bucket half filled with peach schnapps, a chair with 2 legs missing, a small hand-sized bag of copper coins, and an unlit candle, how would you defend yourself and defeat the enemy?
I'll answer this with a lot of assumptions, and only because of what you've given me for information. Okay? What I will do is I will throw the bag of coins in the face of the foe, and at that point I'll take the bucket of peach schnapps and throw it straight in his eyes. And at that point, I will whack him in the head with the bucket. And then I'll take a chair leg that I broke off previously, and I will stab him in the throat. And then I will take the foe's keys, money, weapon, and the capo and the candle and the copper coins. And I'll just basically leave the room and hightail it out of there.
Try stabbing him with a candle.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for joining me on this. And thank you for helping me on Help the DMG info.
All I can say is thank you, DMG, for having me on your channel, chat. I really appreciate it. I'm humbled to be on this video. And if you like this video, I'd appreciate a thumbs up. I'm sure DMG would as well.
You've got to do it properly.
What's that?
You've got to do it properly.
I know. The like button. But I'm Stronghold Crafter Kev and you're DMG, so I can't infringe on your technique. I don't quite have a way of saying goodbye that's custom. But also, for more information on my craft, visit my website, which is strongholdcrafter.com. For those of you who are starting out, it doesn't matter where you are on your skill level, just do it and keep at it. Don't worry about the if you do videos, don't worry about the Unlike Fairy, because I get them too and DMG gets them too. And but as long as you get some comments that keep you going, one positive comment will keep me going, no matter what video it is. Thanks for watching.
So that's Stronghold Crafter Kev. If you like this video, like button. If you want to see future videos, click the subscribe button. Share this with your friends. And of course, if you have any questions or anyone you'd like me to interview, drop it in the comment section below. You can also visit my Facebook page, Google Plus page, Twitter account, email newsletter, and of course my website at thedmg.info, where you'll find a store where I sell things from as little as 99 US cents, which helps support this channel, and buy tuna for the cat who's just around the corner. And more DVDs because someone stole these.